Hey, so it is Friday, May 12th, and today we are reading through Language Arts lesson 1202 and doing the quiz. It's due today. And then also in math, we're reading lesson 1303 and doing the quiz by Tuesday of next week. That's because we're slowing things down, trying to make you have plenty of time to get things done. If I were you though, before testing starts, I'd try to get the math done just because there's some things in there that might be useful to know for the state test. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to really quickly look through those lessons. Then I'm going to put you guys in breakout rooms to work. And you can do both of those, the language arts and the math and a dream box at 10:30, when we normally start the SRG book club. We're going to watch Charlotte's Web. Actually, there's a new version of that movie that I didn't know, that I've never seen. So we're going to watch the new version. I think it has real animals in it, which is kind of fun. And our book club just read that book. It's a wonderful book. I recommend it. You know how sometimes you read a book when you're a kid and then you read it again and you're like, oh, that was boring. This one was not boring. It was really good. So if you'd like to read it, read it. If you'd like to join us to watch it, we'll watch it from 10:30 till probably 11:30 to 12-ish. So you can grab your lunch and watch it with us. Here I go.
When?
It starts at 10:30. We'll start it at 10:30. And
Today?
yeah, today at 10:30, we're going to watch it through lunchtime today. All right. So if you look at our week here, May, oh my gosh, the days are going so fast. Today's May 12th. If you look at the agenda, get lots of sleep, eat a healthy breakfast, come prepared to do your best on testing starting on Monday and going daily for 2 weeks. I want to actually share with you too, the testing schedule that I'm going to email to your families. So here it is. You'll notice that it has a live link on it. I'm actually not sure which is going to work. You have to use the, I'm going to also send your family this letter. Where is it? Here it is. So this letter has got a parent information sheet on how to do the testing. It also has a video walking you through how to do the testing. So you're going to need to watch this video that shows you how to log on and get onto the proper thing. This weekend, I'd recommend you look
Welcome
through
to
this.
the remote testing training module.
So this is for families to
use
figure
a
out how to
webcam,
do.
microphone,
You have to
and
turn on your
speaker
permission
during the test session. During the test, your testing device
You have
will
to make sure
require
your computer's all set up.
you
So I'm
have the
going to send this
necessary
to your
hardware,
parents, and you should
and
go
checking
through this weekend, okay?
select the
If you're doing the
TTS
testing.
check.
Then we're going to go through all that
First,
check
if you
together.
have
But I will send you that letter that I just showed you, and you need to make sure your parents actually take the time to read it. I know how parents are because I'm a parent too. Make sure they look through the information sheet and they go to this testing video. And then here it talks about in-person testing at Flex. And then here it talks about hours scheduled for testing, and it has the links. So we'll have one session at 10 a.m. and the other one at 12:20. Okay, sessions will be about an hour long. I'll read through and guide you through it. I'll be on there. Some of you have said you're going to have your cameras on. Some of you don't have to have your cameras on. So these kids have to have their cameras on. Amadi, Amoy, Nora, Christian, Javen, Evie, and Megan. Your parents all checked that they wanted your cameras on, so that's how it has to be. You have to have your camera on during testing. Everybody else who's testing remotely, your parents checked that you didn't have to have your camera on, and I don't think you can change it now. I think it's too late. So just so you know. I'll be walking you through, so don't worry too much, but it'd be really great if you went on with your parents and looked through that information sheet when it comes out today. I'll send it via Parent Square, I'll send it through Synergy, and I'll send it through this program, the one that we're on right now. All right, so looking again at today, it says today you need to do this lesson, 1202, historical text, the creation of the Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights? What's that? And then you have to take the quiz. So here we go. Let's take a look at that. And then later you're going to go in and do the lesson 1303, Snowy Operations, which I thought I recorded already. I think I did record that one. Let me look and see if that's true, because if I did, there's no reason to teach it now. Let's go in the resources and see if I recorded math 1303, pre-recorded math lesson 1303. So actually I not only recorded it, but I'll stick it on Monday's lesson, so you can watch the math lesson later if you want to do that. Let's do the language arts now. So back to the calendar. Because that lesson is for 3 days, I didn't know that you'd have time to do it since we had in person yesterday. So here we go. Historical text, the creation of the Bill of Rights. And remember, by the end of this week, you need to have let me know what your historical memorial is that you're going to do. Believe it or not, there's like 10 people who haven't told me yet. And you need to have done the research. So you need to do more research on your site that you're doing. So here we are in lesson 1202, the creation of the Bill of Rights. Here's the Liberty Bell. Here they learn that this is where the Declaration of Independence and the US Constitution were signed. In fact, Philadelphia used to be the capital of the United States before it moved to Washington, D.C. The United States was created based on the ideas of rights and freedom. It's time to use your imagination. Take a moment, imagine you are in charge of creating a brand new country. What ideas would you base your country on? What rights and freedoms would people have? This lesson, you're going to learn different strategies to determine how to know words, explain how information is related by looking at individuals' events, ideas in technical text. So this is nonfiction, scientific, historical, technical text. You're going to be talking about key details, reading words with accuracy, conducting a research project. This is the one you're doing for your essay. Gathering information from a variety of sources. Again, research is huge. And start writing your multi-paragraph opinion essay. Actually, you're not even writing it yet. You're still just planning it. And describing the events that led to adding the Bill of Rights to the Constitution. So in social studies, we've been studying the Constitution and the ideas behind it. The Bill of Rights is a new thing that we're being exposed to, another document that our country is based on. You guys actually have some rights. So at Independence Hall, Carolina read the following on a plaque. The colonies resented the British tax laws and made the remarkable decision to form their own government. So this talks about how to make sense of those words. We're going to move on. Let's see, Washington, D.C. Carolina and Jana, the judge, travel from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C., the capital. There they visit the National Archives, where they read important and historical documents. You're allowed in this building. It's a huge building, the Archives of the United States of America. It's got some pretty important things in it, some original documents. Carolina and Jana see and read 3 different historical documents. Find out which ones they're reading with the following riddles. Then guess what type of historical document the riddle is describing. Ooh, we've got riddles. I am a document that was created by the Continental Congress. On July 2nd, 1776, I was in the voting process. On July 4th, my accomplishment was monstrous. The 13 colonies were freed from Great Britain's rule. I was a success. What do you guys think that is? Anybody have an idea? I think it's the Declaration of Independence, the first one we talked about. Let's see if we're right. The Declaration of Independence. And I believe this Declaration of Independence, the original, is in this archives or in the Library of Congress. I'm not sure which, but it's in one of those buildings. You can go look at it. Okay, I am the supreme law of the United States. You guys better know this one. We've been studying it all week. September 17th, 1787 was my official confirmation. I've been changed 27 times, amended. The first 3 words, we the people, will always grab the nation's attention. What am I? Somebody put it in chat if you're listening. What is it? We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, who knows? Establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense. I know the start of it. It's the Constitution. There it is. It looks a lot like the Declaration of Independence, doesn't it? There's the actual document. Hard to read because look at that writing. Holy cow. It's a good thing it's been translated into something we can read. And now here's the new one. I'm the first 10 amendments in the U.S. Constitution. I'm quite a sight. Cite, Bill of Rights. Regulation on government power is where I fight. My job is to guarantee freedom and protect the rights. James Madison wrote me with all of his passion and might. What am I? The Bill of Rights. There it is. And we don't know too much about it yet, but we just learned that it's the amendments to the Constitution. What's the main idea? So this is a reading strategy of being able to point out the main ideas and the supporting details. Your tips and tricks for finding the main idea. You should ask yourself, what is everything in this paragraph mostly about? Sometimes the main idea is in the first sentence. Sometimes it's in the last sentence. So actually, this is something they're going to ask you to do on the state test on Monday. So if you are not very confident on finding a main idea, you're going to want to read page 4 in detail. You should be able to read something like Rights in America and say what the main idea is. I always ask myself, what is all of this mostly about? So the American Revolution was from 1775. There was not one individual cause. Essentially, it was a disagreement. The focus was on rights. Great Britain, on the other hand, viewed America as a colony. The effect was a protest. So this is all about the Declaration of Independence or the rise of rights. Sometimes it's in the title, right? It's talking about how America protested against England to stand up for personal rights. So what's the main topic? The word rights, see that is in there a bunch. So it's about the main topic is about rights. What does it say? It says America wanted freedom from England to determine their own rights, right? There was a conflict. Americans felt they deserved the same rights. And the main idea is that the 13 colonies had a conflict with Great Britain because they didn't have the same rights. The focus was on rights, right? So that is how you find the main idea. You need to be able to do that for that state test. Now that you've learned more about the main idea, try your skills with the new text. So this is practicing that skill, the creation of the Bill of Rights. And here we have a whole article about the Bill of Rights. So this talks about the background, Declaration of Independence. You've already studied that right about a lot. You know the content of the Declaration of Independence. You've studied the Constitution quite a bit. If I were you and if I were going to skip pages, I'd go straight to the Bill of Rights. Look at that, page 13, and read about that. In 1789, James Madison, a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, which we know is one of the two houses of Congress, we have the Senate and the House of Representatives, introduced 19 amendments to the Constitution. Remember, the Constitution was adopted in 87, so this is 2 years later. Congress adopted 12 of the amendments and sent them to the states for ratification. Ratification means agreement. 10 of these amendments, known together as the Bill of Rights, were ratified. So at that point, they decided 10 of his 19 ideas were good ones, and they became part of the Constitution. The Bill of Rights guarantees basic protections for citizens' rights. This includes freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the press. So we are allowed to have a free press. In some countries, the government owns the newspapers and the radio and the TV and controls all the information that comes out. But in our country, we have free press. Press is media. The right to bear and keep arms, the right to assemble peacefully, the right to a speedy trial by an impartial jury. So those are rights you have in this country. And finally, it's been over 200 years since the Constitution was created. We continue to evaluate it and decide what it means and add to it. And we've added a lot more amendments to the Constitution, but those are not a part of the Bill of Rights. Yes, Mr. Amadi.
I don't remember having my hand up.
Oh, sorry.
I had my hand up, but then made it down.
Okay, thank you. All right, then there's this historical relationships, and this is where they're teaching you how to tackle historical texts, which can be hard if you don't know the history. So they're talking about connecting people, ideas, and events. We've been doing that a lot with these history topics. So the Rise of Rights is the story they're going to have you read. It's here. It's 4 pages long. Causes of the Revolution. We've talked about that a lot. People wanted freedom. They wanted to be treated the same. They wanted a say in government. England was taxing them really hard. And then gradually Americans started to think, hey, we should be able to rule ourselves. So, but of course, by we, they meant just the white guys who own property. And then over the years, we've changed that definition of who has rights in America to include more people. And we're still doing that today with protests for equity for all people in the United States. So we're fighting for individual rights. Here you get to make a deeper dive into the creation of the Bill of Rights. You're going to need to read some of this. How did the American colonists feel towards Britain lead to creating a change in the government? How did the creation of each document make life better? How are Thomas Jefferson and George Washington both connected to the United States Constitution? Going to need to read through that. Here's this creation of the Bill of Rights. It's a story, talks about Thomas Jefferson and probably answers that question about Washington. Going to need to read through that one in order to do the quiz at the end of this chapter. I know Mr. Eli, I'm not throwing you under the bus here, but I'm just saying, said to me, gosh, I had a hard time on that quiz at the end. And I said, well, did you read the stories in the lesson? And he said, well, no. And I said, well, that's probably why. If you want to do well on the quiz, you have to read the lessons.
I read the lesson after you told me to read it.
Awesome. Did you take the quiz again yet?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, you're kind of a Speedy Gonzalez. You like to get things done fast, but if you don't,
It's not my fault. It's my family's fault. I have
Oh.
to get everything done.
I know, but you have till Friday to get it done, silly, and you had it done.
Yeah,
2
but
days
I
ahead
have
of
to-
time.
Yeah, but it's always have to be on Wednesday because on Friday and and Thursday, my auntie has a lot of appointments.
Okay, so here we are midway through the lesson, page 9, and it starts into the writing lesson. So they're talking about doing research, supporting your opinion. I told you last time about 5 people did a great job on their research and the rest of you did not do much research. So don't just wait for me to tell you to do it. Take the reins here, jump ahead, try to get your research done on your national monument, right? In your opinion, which one's most significant? Do some research. Here's some ideas for how to do research, but I think you know how. When you guys are curious about something online, I think you do a pretty good job of finding it. So all these pages are about how to do the research, how to write, how to cite. This is a super important page. We're going to go over this on Monday, how to cite what you're writing, or I'm going to record a lesson on it. Super important to write down where you're getting your information. Then they tell you to really plan out your essay. So we'll talk about this. Actually, at 12:20, we'll talk about this today. All right, what did I learn? A little review. And on page 15, it says, take the quiz. So you need to do all of that today. So go read the lesson and take the quiz. I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to stop.